All right, at the time of recording this video, my game has been out for 24 hours. We've got about 175 reviews on Steam, and we are sitting at mixed. You guys know I don't like to shy away from drama or conversations. There's a lot of noise in our Steam community hub, and so we're just going to talk about it all head on. If you guys don't know, yesterday I released Transience, a stealth action tactical FPS that I've been working on for the last 3.5 years. There's tons of videos on the channel recapping what the game is, our game development journey through a bunch of different devlogs, the video I put out just before launch yesterday where I kind of told you guys my expectations, and now the game is out and we can actually see real-time feedback for the first time from the masses, which I gotta say is pretty fucking cool. We pretty much spent the day yesterday watching live streams, tracking feedback, tracking bugs and other issues that popped up, and we already put out a day one patch addressing a lot of the issues that popped up. Honestly, in terms of like stability and functionality, we were worried that things were gonna go like catastrophically wrong and things would break and players couldn't, you know, finish a level, and we were fully expecting this to be like overwhelmingly negative. The launch day issues that we've seen, you know, throughout the industry, we fully were like, we hope it doesn't happen to us. And thankfully, we were able to watch 2 players late last night actually finish the game front to back on Twitch, which I thought was really fucking cool. In terms of game-breaking bugs and issues, I think we did pretty well. Stability across the board. There's obviously some outliers with some performance issues that people are having, and we're already trying to track what those issues are. From what we're seeing, there's some AMD builds that had trouble with our shadows. If they put the shadows to low, they would get terrible performance. If they upped it, it would be a little bit inconsistent. So we're trying to track those issues down. But I don't know, for the most part, I think I'm actually pretty happy at the stability of the game, even with those outliers that are having those issues. We do have a couple of reviews of people saying that they wish that there were some optimization passes, and obviously we're looking into where those issues are cropping up, and we're trying to get them down. But I think from what we've seen and from the gameplay we've been able to watch other people, you know, go through the game, I think we did pretty good there, all things considered. Now, as you guys can see here, the game is sitting at mixed reviews on Steam. We have 178 reviews. We're sitting at 61% at the time of recording this video. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to expect me to just come out and be super defensive and you know, oh, fuck no, my game's better. No, I think a lot of the negative reviews that we've seen come in and all the feedback we're gathering there is valid. The main pain points for people are obviously our AI. I think a lot of people are disappointed at just kind of how basic the AI is, and especially in the early game, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. The early game with the apartments level, the intro, the tutorial level, you guys are seeing it on screen there. There's a lot of points where you can kind of like cheese the AI, or they're just kind of like funneling into doors, and you know, fully understand that that is a problem. There was an issue where you couldn't sneak behind enemies without them actually hearing you, even if you were like crouching silent with a knife. And honestly, it shouldn't have gotten to the launch build, but it has been patched. So hopefully that stealth experience in the early game is a little bit more manageable for people. Alongside those issues with AI, it does seem like a lot of people are struggling with just how slow the game opens up. It's tough to talk about without spoiling the story beats, but we wanted to create an intro where you were basically returning home for the night and you realize you're kind of walking into a scenario, you're trying to figure out information. They send you on a little task to, you know, get to a stash, get to a weapon. And in our design, we wanted to kind of slowly introduce you into the mechanics, and then shit pops off. The problem that we're running into is a lot of people hated the slow burn, monotonous intro with the monologue. Our main character talks a lot during the intro sequence. We wanted to harken back to the days of playing Max Payne with that inner monologue, and a lot of people think we went overboard with it. Completely fair and valid. The main game, I think, opens up when you actually get your suit. So you start without your gear. And we thought that was a cool way to introduce the game. You start with no resources, and then as you kind of escape the situation you're in, you figure out where the people took your gear, and you have to go in, grab it, and then exfil, and then the game opens up. That was kind of the whole design, and we thought that was a cool little intro. Unfortunately, it just didn't hit with a lot of people, and, you know, valid. There's really nothing else I can say about it. The pacing just didn't hit with a lot of people, and that's fair. I am seeing some people want us to like change the intro and change the pacing up a little bit. And honestly, I think at this point, like, if you didn't like the amount of like yapping from the main character at the beginning, you're probably not going to like the rest of the game. It is a story-driven game for sure. There's a lot of narrative, there's a lot of inner monologue, there's just a lot of story going on, and what this game was us kind of just dropping you in the shoes of somebody within this world without giving you a shit ton of like exposition and like, this is the world you're in. We just kind of wanted to drop you in, give you the footnotes of the situation, and then you're in the shit. Unfortunately, it was just too slow of an intro for a lot of people to get through, and the way the first level was designed was very corridor-like, which I don't think gives a solid representation of what the game actually is. Don't get me wrong, there are areas of the game where you're going through, you know, different hallways and different buildings, but there are levels in the game where things open up a lot. And I think if you actually look at the mixed reviews and you see like the positive reviews, the people who put in a few hours and got past that slog intro, they even say like the game really opens up around level 3. But at the end of the day, if we don't hook you in to get you there, to let the game open up, you know, it's on us, and we'll definitely eat that. Honestly, I'm happy that the game didn't go overwhelmingly negative day one. As much as I'm disappointed that the game didn't hit the mark for a bunch of people in terms of the pacing, in terms of the actual like just slow intro, I am glad that the game was stable enough for you to at least try it. And if you refund it, or if you just leave a negative review, at least it's on that and not on the fact that like your game is fucking crashing every 10 minutes, or the game is lagging, or, you know, just the typical stuff that we see from a lot of releases. Obviously, you know, everybody wants to fucking knock it out of the park and get that overwhelmingly positive. And unfortunately for our first game, we just didn't get there. And I think that's fine. You never want to disappoint anybody with stuff like this. But I do think the main issue outside of everything else is the fact that a lot of people are disappointed in the stealth aspects of the game and the AI. And again, I like, there's no feedback that we're getting here that I think is like invalid, or I think is like missing the mark. I think it's very easy to pick apart our AI, and I think there are a lot of areas of the game where if you sit in a corner and hold an angle and, you know, just kind of make some noise, they're going to run at you. They are basic. There's absolutely no doubt about it. It's one of those things where, because I'm kind of behind the scenes and I see how the things have developed over time, I know how basic they were to how basic they are. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to you guys as consumers. You play it, especially in this first map where it's corridor-based hallways like this that you guys are seeing, the AI are not going to perform in the same way that we really want it to in the other levels. And I actually think if you play the holdout mode, the mode where it's like wave based, and you can see the arena style gameplay there, you can see a lot more of how the AI actually interact in terms of combat. The way that they're able to, you know, pincer and flank, and just the way that their combat effectiveness works in those kind of areas. I just don't think we hit the same mark when it comes to some of our more linear level designs. And, you know, that's another thing. It's just, it's on us at the end of the day. We've already put a patch out addressing some of the issues that cropped up. There was a couple of collider issues on a couple of levels where people were going in places we didn't want them to go. But for the most part, I think the stability was good. There weren't any game-breaking issues outside of a couple people having some issues with keybinds. We're also tracking that. But honestly, I think for our first game out the gate, sitting it mixed was probably better than most of us actually expected. We made a very small indie game with a style that I think just didn't hit for a lot of people, or at the very least, we didn't hook you enough to get to the really like the meat and potatoes of the game with the suit and the gadgets. If you just couldn't get there before, you know, it was your chance to refund, you know, that's fair, and that's definitely on us. It's crazy, you know, watching some of the gameplays on Steam, how long it actually took people to complete the first level. Even with our internal playtesters, we'd have people playing that level, you know, front to back with the intro, with the cinematics in about 45 minutes or so. We were watching people play it on stream, and they would be in the first level for like an hour and a half. And so with that, you know, that first hour and a half, like that's your moment to be like, is this game something that I really want to spend the rest of the 8 to 12 hours playing? Or should I just refund now? And, you know, we've had some people leave some negative reviews saying that we didn't hit the mark there. Like I said, I'm happy that we have a lot of people that are leaving positive reviews that are enjoying the game. And you can see most of the positive reviews are the people who did put, you know, 3, 4, 5 hours in. They got to where it opens up a little bit, and then they're like, oh, fuck. Okay, there's actually there's some good shit to be had here. But yeah, for our first game out the gate, I'm not mad at where we're at. Of course, you always want to do better. And, you know, seeing this and being able to actually see like my own audience's feedback for games in real time, it actually makes me excited for the future. If we make another game, we can take all this feedback, like positive and negative, and take that and apply it to a future project, which I think is pretty cool. Throughout all the noise and all of the feedback coming in, our community hub turning into a complete dumpster fire, I do have to give a shout out to one person that I actually never thought would chime in with, in my opinion, a kind sentiment through all the shit that he really didn't need to do. This is the lead developer for Dead Matter, which was one of the most controversial and like crazy topics on this channel for years. But I wanted to give a shout out. He actually left some kind words. I do appreciate it. Through all of the noise and all of the craziness of day one launch, I did see that comment and I wanted to make sure that you knew that. But listen, in terms of a launch, it could have went way better. It could have went a whole hell of a lot worse. It was really cool watching someone beat the game on Twitch, you know, hit the ending cutscene, hit the credits, and their reaction was, man, that was a great fucking game. I was like, okay, we kind of set out and did exactly what we wanted to do. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Are there ways to improve? Absolutely. All I wanted through the years was for developers to actually just put some effort in. And I think if you play the game, you can see that there was effort put in a lot of different places. Did we fall short in others? Yeah, absolutely. And if you're somebody who didn't like the game or you're disappointed, that's on us. We'll try to hit a better mark on the next one for those who are running into the small subset of issues that we found in terms of like optimization or some keybind issues or anything else like that. We're going to do some post-launch patches, try to hammer out those issues that we can find. And honestly, for the end of a 3.5-year journey of learning, grinding, and trying to do something that I probably didn't need to do but wanted to do, I'm very, very happy with the response overall. And I know that if we take what we learned over the last 24 hours and apply that to a future project, I mean, guys, the sky's the limit. I appreciate you guys watching. For the ones who enjoyed it, I'm glad. I really am glad that if you can get to the suit, if you can get to the gadgets and you watch the game open up, I'm glad that a lot of those people did have a good time playing the game. For as janky, rough around the edges, and indie developed that it was, I was happy to see quite a few people jumping in and having a good time. There's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of lessons learned. And honestly, man, I am fucking psyched for the future. Appreciate you guys watching. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it. Check out Transience on Steam today. And I'll see you on the next one.